I'd like to welcome you to this evening's council meeting of March 9th. And we will move ahead. Corporate Officer, we have the minutes to adopt from the last couple of meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have special council meeting minutes dated February the 18th and the regular council meeting minutes dated February 23rd. And they can be moved and seconded by one resolution.
Thank you. Does council have any errors or omissions? Councillor Carlson? No? Okay. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Traynor, Councillor Barkwell, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Corporate Officer, are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have one amendment. Item 6.1 delegation. Richard Toprezer, Regional Manager of Economic Development, cannot make it tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. So I guess we'll proceed right to the public hearing for 4.1.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and I'll read the public hearing statement that I'm required to read. This public hearing is being held pursuant to Section 890 of the Local Government Act. The purpose of this hearing is to consider certain bylaws which, if adopted, will amend Summerland Official Community Plan Bylaw 2000-310 and or Summerland Zoning Bylaw 2000-450. During this public hearing, anyone who believes that his or her interest is affected by the proposed development will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the bylaw that are a subject of this hearing. All information, correspondence, petitions, or reports that have been received concerning the subject bylaw have been made available to the public. Now I'd like to invite the public to come forward and present their comments. Speakers are asked to state their name and address for the record. Speakers are encouraged to limit their remarks to 5 minutes and should include all of the relevant information in their presentation. Further opportunity will be afforded for all persons to speak a second or third time once all persons have had an opportunity to speak. During the public hearing, council may ask questions of staff and public, but once the public hearing is over, no new information can be received. Council debate on the bylaw will take place when the bylaw is considered after the conclusion of the hearing. At that time, any questions of staff should be for clarification purposes only. Thank you. So if any members of the public would like to come forward? Please. Just come to the mic, please, and state your name and address. And after comments, I guess our Director of Planning will give us some details.
Hello. My name is Grant Taylor. I presently live at 11911 Loomer Road.
Yes, go ahead.
I own adjacent property just across Britton Road from this property. One of the parcels of land there is what I plan to build a house on and live there. It's been something I've been planning for about 10 years.
Could you ask the planner to locate your property, please, for us?
Lot 8, Ian.
Yeah, it's going to take a second to load, I'm afraid. So that would be one of these down here, Mr. Taylor?
The one on the right-hand side. That one?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
I had purchased property there about 10 or 11 years ago, and at that time, I planned then, I had searched around Trout Creek because I decided that's where I wanted to retire. I liked the neighborhood. I purchased them and I subdivided them into 8 lots with the as-per zoning at that time. I just like Trout Creek. It has many unique features, parks, waterfront, climate. I especially like the large lots, character homes, and the attractive landscaping that was there. I feel that developers, when buying land, such as this Lot 13, should buy understanding that the existing zoning is there. And if they want to change it, they should buy it subject to the rezoning before they get into it, not after the fact. After the fact necessitating upsetting the present owners in the area, which includes people much further than 30 meters away. I feel the Trout Creek neighborhood is unique with its own character, and I ask that the present zoning of that property be left with no changes. Thank you.
Is there any further comments from the public?
Hi everyone, my name is Bruce Buxton. I live at 1712 Harding Street. I'm opposed to the application for rezoning to RSD1 lots. I've given a lot of thought to this, and for me, I believe that 3 goals are primary when considering such applications. What benefits the common good? What's the character of our various communities within Summerland to be? And how does one define prudent and responsible development? This application has its roots in the public hearing and council vote that occurred last September concerning the rezoning of 8 acres off Dale Road in Trout Creek from agricultural to 29 lots that were to be a mix of 2 RSD3 lots, 13 RSD2 lots, and 14 RSD1 lots, for a total of 29 lots. The contentious issues at the public hearing were the precedent-setting 14 RSD1 lots, which actually involved only the addition of 2 more lots in total. Then, if the development had been kept to 25 RSD2 lots and 2 RSD3 lots. The other contention seemed to be the bordering of this development with Powell Beach Park. The majority of the speakers that night, by my estimation, about 4 to 1, indicated their objection was not to the development per se, but to the allowance of RSD1 lots in Trout Creek, which had been demonstrated at the public hearing to have had no such small size designation lots to date. There was also concern expressed that the vegetative barrier between the park and the development be kept, and this was assured by the developers at the public hearing. The developers countered by suggesting the development would improve enrollment at Trout Creek Elementary and would increase tax revenue for the district. Again, remember we're talking about 2 additional lots by going with RSD1. So the difference in those advantages noted by the developers would have in fact been negligible. The developers brought in 2 speakers who live in Penticton, both of whom said they would like to move their families to Summerland, but it was unaffordable, so allowing RSD1 lots in Trout Creek would allow them to move from Penticton. I wish to note that the current sale price for these RSD1 lots in the development is starting at $298,000. Regarding the vegetative barrier, the developers stated in the public hearing they would retain most of the barrier and augment the rest, which was separating the 8 acres from Powell Beach Park. As anyone who has seen what has been done down there, the vegetation barrier has been completely removed, save for a few trees, and it is, in my humble opinion, a dishonor to the selfless gift provided by the Powell family to witness the wasteland effect and scar this has caused the park area. After hearing the majority of residents voicing their disapproval of RSD1 lots, the developer spokesperson finished by claiming the loss of 2 lots that would result from allowing only RSD2 and RSD3 lots would create a, quotes, tipping point that could jeopardize the entire proposal. This was said with no evidence to support the statement, but it seemed to be taken by council at face value, unfortunately. Only Mr. Waterman expressed empathy with the majority of speakers, and he asked whether the proposal could be modified by dropping the RSD1 designated lots, but this suggestion was rejected by the rest of council. Just before the vote, which allowed the proposal to proceed, the former mayor exclaimed to the audience, as if to discredit the opinions of the majority that night, "It's 2 lots, people, it's 2 lots." So even though the goals of enhancing the tax base, increasing the enrollment of Trout Creek Elementary, and listening to and siding with the majority of the speakers that night would all have been achieved by modifying the proposal and eliminating the precedent of RSD1 lots, the council still voted to approve the developer's proposal. This brings me to the current application. For the sake of 4 additional lots, We would see a significant conflict with the character and appearance of the immediate surrounding neighborhood, all of which are RSD2 lots or higher. The primary entranceway to Trout Creek would show a Surrey-style small lot development that's inconsistent with the community. We would witness the character of this unique and beautiful community of Summerland continue to erode. The common good is still achieved by retaining the current zoning that will provide an increased tax base and improve school enrollment. The character of the Trout Creek community is not harmed with a patchwork approach to development, and a prudent and responsible development process is the result. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who has further comment? I'd ask the planner, do you have additional comments and explanation, please?
Nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so we had, just to reiterate, the number of lots prior was,
There's 15 lots under the current RSD2 zoning proposal, which is shown on the screen, and if it goes to RSD1, there's another 4 lots that would be created.
okay, thank you. Mr. Holmes, Councillor Holmes.
Mr. McIntosh, could you show us where the extra lots would be created?
In this, if you look on this slide, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots in this area. And in the new proposal, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots in that same area. So 2 on this side of the road and 2 on the other side of the road.
Okay.
Oop.
Not along the highway.
No, not along the highway. There's 3 lots on the original proposal and 4 lots on the new proposal. There may, and I think maybe 1 additional. Yes, there's 4 lots in this area along the highway here, or 3, and there's 4 lots on this one. So 2 on this side, 1 on this side, and 1 over next to the highway.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by council? If there are no further questions from the public or from council, I declare that. Oh, Councillor Booth? Yes, sorry. Did I look right by you? Sorry. Councillor Booth.
Just one question regarding the landscaping and what was described as a wasteland. Is there something in the development permit that requires them to either re-landscape and/or put up that barrier that was part of the original permit granting?
I'll have to, that actually, the question is out of order.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're discussing this particular bylaw here, or for this particular development, not the Dale, down to Powell Beach one?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's just that there's no point, because that's being dealt with. And,
Okay.
but I agree, they should be kept up.
Apologize.
Any further questions from, or discussion from
Yes.
public, please?
Hi, my name is Grant Claddock, and I'm with Coldwell Banker and Kirk Chamberlain Associates out of Penticton, sorry. We're representing the seller here who wants to develop this property. If you look at the ones on the bottom there, those 6 lots along Britton Road there, and there's a house there, we sold those 6 lots. We sold 4 lots, actually, lots 2, 4, 5, and 6 just before Christmas. We have offers on 2 of them right now. The infrastructure on Britton Road has been in there for years. Obviously, people have other development properties there that they're slowly building on. The houses that we want to build here, the average lot that you see on these others are going to be probably around 5,000 square feet. There is going to be a building scheme in place. A lot of the question was the other lots along the highway there, where that concrete wall is there right now, there is going to be a bit of a berm in there. There will be trees planted and whatnot to knock out the noise from the highway, and as well as a safety barrier. We would like to do it probably in 2 phases, whether it's 15 or 19. I think the 19 is supported. The lots will be good-sized lots. We're going to start pricing them compared to what they have over at Lighthouse Landing. It was stated that it's starting at $298,000. All 32 lots of those are sold out when there's 15 people on a waiting list. So there's not a lot of good building places around in Summerland at all. It's going to be huge for a tax structure to bring everything in as well. Our lots here are starting at $199,000. And like I said, with the ones that we sold on Britton Road there just before Christmas, 4 lots, 2 have offers on them already, and that won't be a problem selling these lots out. I'm not sure if there's going to be a time frame to build on them or not. It would be nice to get them done sooner than later and just increase the whole landscape of that whole area. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Holmes.
I do have a question. I'm not sure who to direct it to. I do take the previous speaker's point that it's important to respect the public hearing process. And so my question, I guess, is if the developer wanted to build 19 rather than 15, why didn't they come to, why wasn't the original proposal for 19 lots rather than 15 lots?
Well, I can answer that,
Planner, yes,
Mr.
please.
Mayor. At the time that the zoning was put in place and the subdivision was first done, it was prior to the new zoning bylaw, and there was not a zone that would allow for this density of single-family residential housing. So the new zoning bylaw that was adopted in 2012, I believe, had a zone in it. The RSD1 was reduced from 650 square meters down to 460 square meters. So in light of that new zone available in the zoning bylaw, that is what predicated this application. Originally, they didn't have that option.
Okay. Is there no further Councillor Traynor? Yes.
Hi, there was talk about putting a sidewalk in. Would you be able to review what that would look like again?
When the property was zoned, Mr. Mayor, there was a covenant placed on the property. Normally speaking, it's a requirement of a subdivider to build a sidewalk or build the road to the center line adjacent to their property. And when the zoning was put in place, the signalization was such at the intersection of Highway 97 and Johnson Street that it was more advantageous to have the sidewalk constructed on the north side of Johnson Street along essentially the same linear area. So there was a covenant placed that instead of putting the sidewalk on the south side, they would build that same sidewalk on the north side where there's a bus stop and there's more pedestrian traffic because of the corner store. So that currently is in place. So upon development or subdivision of this parcel, a sidewalk will be constructed on the north side of Johnson Street.
Councillor Carlson.
I understand that this was subdivided quite some time ago. It's been at least 5 years, is that correct?
I'm
Originally?
not sure, has it been about 5 years?
Okay. So, and has it been actively listed and the lots for sale since it was subdivided? Or is this brand new to actually try and develop this area?
My understanding is that the 6 lots on the south here that were part of the original subdivision were developed and were put for sale as soon as they were registered.
But everything else hasn't yet gotten to that stage?
That's correct.
Okay, if there are no further questions or comments or discussion, I'll declare the public hearing closed, and we'll move forward to 5.1.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Prior to that, to closing the public hearing, we
Yes.
can provide the public a third opportunity
Okay.
if there is anybody else to speak.
Right.
And then what I'll do
That's right.
is I'll read out the recommendation for the public
Okay.
hearing. Thank you.
So is there any, for a third time, I think I've asked twice before, any further questions from the, or comments from the public, please? I don't see any, so I think we've had our 3 times.
Yep.
Can you read the
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
next bylaw, please?
Yeah, so the bylaw that is for consideration tonight is bylaw 2015-003, amendment of zoning bylaw number 2004-50 to rezone lot 13, district lot 488, ODYD, plan 310, accept plans 41476 and KAP 91223 from RSD2 to RSD1 located at 5815 Highway 97. And this bylaw is before council for second and third reading.
Thank you, Corporate Officer. So discussion by council on this issue? Someone like to move the recommendation then, please? Question? Comment? Go ahead. Yep.
I think some comment on the matter by people who have to vote would be appropriate. I agree with the speaker that there are places that larger lots should be maintained, that you shouldn't encroach a large, smaller, higher density lots in an area that has nice, larger residential areas. But I don't really believe that this area next to the highway is one of those locations. So I think I'll be supporting the motion.
Okay. Further comments, please, from councillors? Councillor Holmes.
Yeah, I just reiterate what Councillor Barkwell said. Really, I feel, I understand that Trout Creek has a special characteristic and the large lots is part of that characteristics. But taking consideration, its location is along the highway, next to an RV, sales park, center and whatnot. I think, in this case, I also find it, we weren't part of the I wasn't personally part of the previous process, and so I can only really deal what's come before me right now, and it seems like a reasonable request to me.
Councillor Carlson.
I'm an advocate of smaller lot sizes, and I think that as we look at the cost of housing, the cost of land, and the affordability of all of it, it's a reality that people don't all want large lots, and I appreciate that there are many that will stay large and that people will continue to live in and to renovate. But again, I see some large lots right along the highway, and I hope that with proper landscaping, and I believe that we should have some, there should be some way that we can ensure this, that there's follow through on this. I don't want people to get away with doing it in a poor way or in a not a high quality way. So I would like to recognize that we should be watching that, and we will be watching that. But having some smaller lot sizes in this town, I think, is necessary, and this is a very good way to begin that process.
Yes, Councillor Peak.
Yes, when it came before us the first time, I did comment on the fact that there is a noise factor on that highway. Oftentimes, you do get more divisions of lots where it is perhaps a little less likely that people want the larger lots. There is a character in Trout Creek, and I think that can be retained at a good portion of that property or the properties throughout that area. But we have to look at the fact that we have certain areas that are well serviced, and to create a greater tax base so that we are not putting more of a burden on the taxpayers for the improvements and the amenities that we have and we need to continue to look after. The opportunity to create a few more lots in an existing subdivision seems reasonable, and especially in this position. But I certainly appreciate the comments made by the people who came forward in regard to how they felt about the character.
Okay, are we ready to proceed, Councillor Traynor?
I struggled with this one a little bit as well because I live down in Trout Creek, and I live down there because I do like the area. I like the characteristic of it. I like the larger lots. But I try to look at everything on a case-by-case basis, and I think because of the location where this is going to be, I think I will be supporting it. But again, I think every proposal that comes across the table, it's important to look at it all on a case-by-case basis, and I appreciate that my neighbors came and spoke tonight, and I hear their concerns.
I think we've heard from everybody. Okay. So could I have the motion, please? Move. Thank you. Councillor Barkwell, seconder. Councillor Holmes. We take the vote. Is everybody all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we'll move on to our first delegation. Mr. Steve Surrett, District and Program Manager, Okanagan-Shuswap with the Ministry of Transportation.
Mr. Surratt, you ready to go?
I just got a short PowerPoint to,
Oh, okay.
hopefully they can load up. If it doesn't work, I can just talk about it either way, with a couple of pictures that you might
No,
want to see.
we expect hand-done drawings.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You ever watch those guys on TV where they rip off a whole drawing, and I know it's obviously computer graphics, but it's done so quickly, you think the guy actually can do it.
Perfect.
Symbols at least, will shortly have pictures.
Nope.
Not working for you? Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. So, yeah, my name's Steve Surratt. I'm the District Program Manager and Assistant District Manager with the Ministry of Transportation. I'm also project managing the Summerland Pedestrian Pathway partnership project between ourselves and the District of Summerland that was announced early last fall, I believe it was, or late last summer.
Thank you for being here. It's great.
Thank you.
Get some progress here.
Yep. So I just wanted to come and give you a quick update. We're getting sort of towards the end, and I have been working with Summerland staff throughout the process and giving them updates and ensuring that both needs were met, and not only them, but also the Trail Society, whose sort of, I think, vision sort of started us down this path as it is. So on the screen, and I apologize, it's a little hard to see because it's a large file, but this is sort of the limits of the project. We're tying in, and this drawing is a little bit outdated. We're coming up to a point where we're almost at tender. So we're tying in at the south end, just past the Summerland RV campground, and at the north end at Lakeshore Road. It's going to be on the northbound right-hand lane, separated by barrier. It's about 1.3 kilometers long, a 2-meter wide pathway. This is what we call our typical section. So if you're looking there on the shoulder, the highway there is on the left, with your white line or your edge line is the first larger line, and then a barrier and 2-meter wide pathway on the opposite side of the barrier. So the entire pathway is separated by a concrete roadside barrier for the pedestrians from one end to the other. There is going to be a couple of walls at the south end between the RV campground and the highway in order to eliminate any property impacts. That was one of the big things we had to do. And one thing that we're in the middle of redesigning now is at the south end there was a fairly significant power pole owned by yourselves that we had to try to avoid. So we were hoping to be a little bit further ahead, but that's caused a bit of a delay on figuring out how to get around that, and then also avoiding some environmental impacts that are in the area just north of the RV campground, for where we had a little bit closer to the lake. So as I said, right now our environmental review's done. We've identified any issues. We've done a First Nations and archaeological review. There is actually some areas a little bit further closer to the lake that has some potential impacts, but nothing that we're mitigating. We're at a point now where what we call a 90% detailed design, where we've hammered out a lot of the different things, and as I mentioned before, we're just on the point where we're trying to figure out how to avoid those little few environmental impacts and the pole at the south end, and once we get that out, we'll have another final review with Summerland staff as well. So expect to complete the design here in the next week. Once that's finished, I'll meet again with, like I said, with Summerland staff to go over it again, address any issues that still might be outstanding, finalize that, and from there go to tender, looking to tender at the end of this month. With that's about a 6-week process to tender and get a contractor in place and start work. So figure around May is by the time we get to work. And originally I was hoping to be constructed and have the path done, ready for summertime, but it looks like probably into the first bit of July, depending on how the contractor goes out before we're done and the path is ready to go. Here's just simple, my contact information if something does come up, and Don Darling is the main contact who I've been working with, amongst some other people as well, throughout the process. So that's the quick update I got on that, so welcome any questions.
Thank you. Questions from council? Yes, Councillor Carlson.
What's the surface of the path going to be?
It's still up for debate. It was going to be between gravel and asphalt. We're looking right now at asphalt, and we felt that was achievable. The last couple of changes in the design because of the power pole and have to avoid that. We'll have to review it again once the design's complete, but the ultimate goal is still asphalt. So we feel maintenance-wise it'll be much more practical for Summerland going forward, and a lot easier to maintain. It just, like all things, it has to fit within the budget.
Councillor Peak?
Yes, it's starting on the by the RV campground, but it's on our side, on the Trout Creek side as well.
It'll tie into Thornburg. So originally it was going to be right in front of almost right where the entrance to the RV campground is. Now to avoid that pole, it's going to be a little bit further south, but it'll tie into Thornburg Road.
And then it'll go right to the RV camp on the other side, along
to Lakeshore Road.
To Lakeshore Road.
Yeah.
Now, is this phase 1? Is there then a phase 2 that takes us further along?
For us, it's the only project we're working on now. There's no plans right now for anything beyond that. But I'm sure you're all aware of the Trail Society's vision for a much broader thing, and cycling in general is more and more a priority. How that works is too early to say from our level, whether they continue on with this or.
And as I understand it, we'll be looking after the care and maintenance once it's completed.
That's correct. Yes.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Good.
Councillor Holmes? No? Any other questions, comments? Councillor Traynor?
I just have a quick question. What will it look like at the south end? Is it just going to, because there's a bank right there, right?
Yeah,
right
so
before the entrance of the RV park?
Yeah, so there's a couple of lock block walls on either side to avoid any impacts to the path. So it'll be, for the most part, the pathway is following the highway grade, so at the same level of the highway.
Yeah.
As you get closer to Thornburg, because there's quite a bit of different elevation, that's where you'll see it start to ramp down and tie into Thornburg Road. So at that point, it'll start getting lower than the highway. But all the grades, or the grade of the path will be wheelchair accessible and accessible for all users, for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So I have a question regarding the surface and the asphalt versus anything else. What's the cost differential between using the asphalt versus, say, compacted asphalt millings?
One, you'd have to have the compacted asphalt millings to source it out, but you're probably looking between $80,000 and $100,000.
Difference?
Difference, yes.
There's no stockpile of that stuff around? There's enough of it going on all the
It's
time?
tough to stockpile because although there might be some, one summer in the Okanagan and it's hard as a rock.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's difficult to reuse. It's one of those things you want to use
Right
as
away.
you're pulling it off
I
of
see.
the old asphalt, for
Okay,
sure.
Thank
yeah.
you. Any other comments at all? Well, it's been enlightening. I'm looking forward to it. And now, is it going to be cycling as well as walking?
Because of the width of we're only being able to achieve 2 meters, it cannot be deemed multi-use trail. A multi-use trail, you need 4+ meters for something like that. So we're calling it a pedestrian pathway for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably enough said. Thank you very much. Well, appreciate, and on behalf of council, I'd like to thank you for coming this evening, and we're looking forward to this link between Lower Town and Trout Creek, and it's going to be great for our tourist traffic and great for local residents. So we appreciate you folks moving ahead with it, and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. It's a partnership, so.
You're welcome. It's great.
Thank you,
you
Mr.
very
Mayor.
much. So next we have Mr. Cleghorn, representing the Penticton branch of the BC Schizophrenia Society. Mr. Cleghorn.
Good evening, Mayor Waterman and councillors, staff, and members of the public. Thank you for allowing us to come and speak to you tonight. My name is Jim Cleghorn, and I'm a resident of Penticton, and with me today is Sharon Evans, who is our president, and we're here today representing the BC Schizophrenia Society and the Penticton branch. Unfortunately, the mayor is going to get a repeat tonight because I gave the same presentation to the RDOS in the city of Penticton.
I have my eyes propped open. We're in good shape.
Anyways, the BC Schizophrenia Society was formed in the early 1990s to help the mentally ill and their families find and complete treatment for their mental illness. Despite the name, we support people suffering from all types of mental illness, including schizophrenia, bipolar disease, depression, and anxiety disorders. We don't serve those with cognitive disabilities or developmental issues unless they also suffer from a mental illness. Included in the package tonight was a profile for the BC Schizophrenia Society Penticton branch and the services and programs we offer. So if you can have a look at that, if you have any questions later, we'd be happy to answer them. Recent campaigns like the Bell Let's Talk and Clara's Big Ride and Defeat Depression, and we're participating in that this year on May the 9th, and CMHA's Ride, Don't Hide campaigns. They've all heightened awareness about mental illness and are helping to reduce the stigma attached to mental illness and encourage those struggling with mental illness to seek treatment. This increased awareness is fantastic, but our question is, how do we meet the needs of the mentally ill in our communities? And just to go over the numbers, I mean, studies indicate that 1 in 5 people will experience mental illness in their lifetime. Well, some say it's some lifetime and some say every year, 1 in 5, but we'll go with lifetime. 8% of adults will experience depression in their lifetime. 1% of the population will suffer bipolar disorder. And in Penticton, they have a vital signs report, which you've probably heard of, and it found that 32.8% of residents in Penticton suffer from depression or anxiety on a chronic basis. And this is versus the BC average of 22%, so I don't know if that's a statistical anomaly or whether, but 22% would fit the 1 in 5. The saddest statistic is that 90% of suicide victims have a diagnosable mental illness. For the RDOS, which is the service area that we service, that 1 in 5 people translated into 16,150 people. Okay, 2,256 of them would live in your community of Summerland. Now they say that 2 of 3 people don't come forward, so that means there's about 11,000 people not coming forward in the regional district and 1,500 in Summerland. In the regional district, 5,330 people will seek treatment, and in Summerland, 750 will. And we think these are significant numbers. These are not just the people, these are just the people suffering from mental illness. It doesn't include their family members, friends, and other caregivers or supporters. We at BCSS provide support and counseling to the patient and their support group. Without an informed and involved support group, the chances of the mentally ill completing their recovery journey are reduced. As you know, the provincial regional health authorities are charged with the responsibility of addressing the treatment of the mentally ill in our communities. They deal with the mentally ill patient, but not the family, and provide limited support to the patient other than respect to their medical treatment. How they deal with people creates significant barriers to some of the lowest functioning members of our society, especially if they're in crisis with their mental illness. Some of the greatest stigmatization of the mentally ill occurs within the mental health system. The Canadian Mental Health Association is a national non-profit association with a branch in Penticton. Their mandate is to promote the mental health of all and support the resilience and recovery of people experiencing mental illness. The CMHA accomplishes this through advisory, advocacy, education, research, and service. CMHA's programs assist with employment, housing, early intervention for youth, peer support, recreational services for people with mental illness, stress reduction workshops, and public education campaigns to the community. We work with both of these agencies, but they are overwhelmed and have difficulty engaging with those with mental illness and delivering some of the programs effectively. If someone is struggling with a mental illness, who do they call? There's a variety of possibilities, but at the end of the day, you need a doctor's agreement and will need to engage and remain engaged, no matter how frustrating, in the bureaucratic process of seeking help and treatment. The reality of the current status of delivery and accessibility of mental health care is best summed up by a recent incident in Vancouver. A young man got a fake gun, went to a payphone, phoned 911, and said he was going to kill a police officer. The police traced the phone call to that payphone. They arrested him. Fortunately, they didn't shoot him, as often happens in these situations. And when arrested, he said, "I did it because I thought I would be more likely to get help with my mental health issues than if I went to the hospital and asked to be admitted." And to me, that just says it all. Let's see, where are we here? People suffering from mental illness are less intimidated by an armed conflict with the police than our mental health system. People get so frustrated trying to get help, they commit acts of desperation. The bigger challenge is for that person who has been diagnosed and treated and medicated to re-enter or become part of society. After the crisis of their mental illness, they may have no job, no income, and no support system. It's critical for them to have the support necessary to ensure they stay on their medication and learn the coping skills necessary to function as a productive member of society with their mental illness. We have a pretty full plate. We serve 582 people from April 1st, 2014 to the end of December of 2014. We currently have 43 active case files, and if the people struggling alone come forward, we're going to have a huge challenge. We received some funding from Interior Health Authority for family support or peer support programs. Our total 2015-2016 budget is $250,000, and included in that is $113,000 program funding from IHA. Wages and expenses are $155,000 of that, and our society has no paid executive director or manager, and we logged over 2,340 volunteer hours in 2014. The $137,000 gap needs to be funded by grants, fundraising, and donations. So you may ask, how does untreated mental illness affect local government? Well, through higher policing costs, more emergency room visits, lost productivity in the local workforce, and to some degree homelessness. The estimated cost in Canada on an annual basis is $50 billion. So we invite you to attend this play that we're putting on, Maladjusted, on Sunday, March 15th in Penticton, at the Shatford Centre in Penticton, which BCSS and the Penticton Indian Band are sponsoring. And a news release was included in the package there to give you more information on that thing. But essentially, it's a play performed by a group called Theatre for Living. The cast consists of mental health patients and caregivers and portrays the true life experiences of three mentally ill people dealing with their illness and the challenges they face in our society. In the second half of the play, the same scenarios are repeated, but stopped at critical points for audience interaction and feedback regarding how more favorable outcomes might be achieved. Through this process, a community action report is developed to highlight things the community can do to humanize the system and support those dealing with mental illness. The show producers refer to this as theatre making policy, because the show is 26 cities. They get a community action report from each community, and they're going to consolidate those and come up with issues, and they're going to use that to try and inform a policy on a federal and provincial level, as well as at the local level.
I'm going to have to, can we going to close shortly, Mr.
Yes,
Clegg-Horn?
I just have two more brief comments. So that it's a multifaceted project, this play, to improve community awareness, support those suffering from mental illness, the families supporting them, and to impact policy regarding mental illness, to humanize mental illness. So thank you for your time, and we're not asking you for money here today, but we do, as you see, have some financial concerns, and we're right now going to beat the bushes and see what we can come up with, and we may be coming back to local governments for some sort of a regionally funded approach to help us meet our goal of helping the people with mental illness in our community.
Any discussion or comments, questions from councillors? None. I did, I'm glad I actually heard it the second time, Mr. Clegg-Horn, because I was really struck by the numbers you threw at us the last time, and it reinforced this time. And I know in my own family, we've been hit quite hard with a couple of different members of the family.
Yeah.
So, it does strike everywhere, and the caregivers, the associates and members of families can be devastated by it. It's not just the individual.
Yeah,
So,
essentially everybody is probably
yeah.
impacted by it.
Well,
They can probably
yeah,
think
and
of a relative.
I, you know, knowing the full destructive power beyond the individual, it's disheartening to see the lack of support overall. So
Okay.
you would be absolutely snowed under if those numbers became a reality in terms of your caseloads.
Yeah, well, and we need help with local government lobbying the provincial government as well to fund this area in a greater degree, because it is the biggest health problem we
I
face,
think
one of
your
the biggest health
associate would
problems we
like to
face.
make a couple of comments.
I just
with-
wanted
keep
to
them
say
brief.
that we actually, our family support worker, Roberta Shea, is in Summerland every Tuesday morning, or most Tuesday mornings, between 10 and 12, thanks to the generous support of the Resource Center. So, you know, if people are looking where to go for help, and they don't, sometimes getting into Penticton is a challenge, definitely, we have weekly, we can make that support happen right here in your own community.
Okay, well, thank you for that comment. No further discussion or comments? Councillor Barkwell.
I have a question and a
Quickly,
comment.
please.
The tickets for this event show
I have
on.
some.
I was just saying, yeah, do you have to get them in advance, or you can get them?
No, they'll be available at the door. We have some out in the community right now, as Sharon says, she has them here tonight, but we'll have them at the door for sure. The main thing is we want to get people out. We're not going to have anybody not attend because they can't pay for a $12 ticket. If people come and want to go, and certainly if they experience, have a difficulty with mental illness or know people to do, you know, we just want butts in the seats at this point, really. The gate receipts aren't that important to our budget, but, you know, they say if it's free, nobody comes.
Okay.
So, there you
Thank
go.
On behalf of council, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation to both of you, and I appreciate you coming here, and you certainly have my understanding and the rest of council, so
Thank you.
you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Robinson, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors. Rob from the Summerland Fire Department. Again, I was fortunate enough to win the provincial curling championship. And I'm representing Summerland as well as our province here. So I don't have any fancy drawings, and I am asking you for some money. But I'll quickly go over maybe some of the things that you might have some questions for. Is that we do get our flights paid for and 2 rooms paid for. We still have to pay for 2 more rooms as there's 4 of us. The gifts, we're required by the Canadian body that runs it to provide every team member with a gift, and also a driver's gift because they drive us around for 10 days and don't get paid for it. We are required to supply a supper, and that we host, and we bring in fish from Campbell River because that's where my other teammates are from. And there's a bit of expense for shipping that to Valleyfield as well as paying for it. So I always like to budget stuff, so that's what I've done for you guys here is I've budgeted all my numbers. Every year I try to, or last year and this year, I have gone to the chamber, and I'm working with Shannon there, and she's put a bag together for me with the Summerland brochure that I'm taking, and also Len from Summerland Suites, who's donated a couple things for each player that's going to go into the goodie bag. So my teammates from Campbell River have a little something, and I have something as well too.
Sounds good.
To try to promote our town. So basically what I'm looking for is a donation of $500 to help me along the way.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So that's about it. Any questions?
Comments by council,
We
questions?
want to wish you luck.
Thank you. So last year we finished 3rd, and this year we want to finish 1st, and there's a nice big red hydrant trophy that comes along with it, so I'd really like to win that.
Yeah.
We have some unfinished business.
Does it come with its own dog?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Thought I'd ask. So we need a motion and recommendation from council,
Yes,
so.
Mr. Mayor.
Motion to,
To provide
Provide $500?
$500 to support Rob Robinson in the curling championship. This would be a grant and aid.
okay, thank you. A motion to that effect, mover please. Councillor Peak, seconder. Councillor Carlson. No further comments or questions, I'm sure. Councillor Barkwell.
I thought about this one a lot, because I don't really see it as a district responsibility to be supporting an individual on their sporting funds and things, and curling bonspiels are a lot of fun. So from that point of view, you know, I couldn't really support that, but then I thought about it as an employer, and would a typical employer like Summerland, or say if it was a mill, would an employer pitch in $500 for if one of their employees had done it? And from that point of view, I could support it, so I'll be voting for the resolution.
Oh, I was waiting for the balance of justice there. You had me really worried. I was going to jump in there somewhere. So, all in favor? Thank you, Councillor. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you,
Thank you
councillors.
for coming before us, and good luck.
Thank you very much. I'll send you guys an email on the website that you can follow me at.
Cool.
And then when I bring the big red trophy back, I'll bring it here, and we can all get our picture taken around it.
That's all right. We have, see that little button in your lapel?
Yeah.
It's a GPS.
Okay.
We'll be following.
Okay.
No question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's from our delegations. Yeah, on behalf of council, thank you very much for coming in front of us tonight. We hope everybody does very well. So, thank you. So now we're into our public comment opportunity, where we allocate 15 minutes, 2 minutes per speaker, to come forward and speak on any agenda item that isn't covered by an accompanying public opportunity. And those are actually highlighted in our agenda this evening. So if anybody has any comments on those highlighted items, please come forward. Staff don't count. For a second time, anybody would like to come forward? For a third time? Thank you. So that deals with our public opportunity, and I'm sure as time goes forward with various issues that come before us, we will have more than sufficient numbers to fill our public commentary session. So with that, we'll move ahead to my report, Corporate Officer.
Yes, that's right, Mr.
Correct?
Mayor. Your report.
It's relatively brief tonight. The main event during the past 2 weeks was the Chamber's 77th Annual Business and Community Awards Gala. The dinner was excellent. You didn't cook it, did you, Christine? No. Okay, thank you. Thor Clausen did a great job of auctioneering. I'm not sure whether he rehearses. I don't think he really has to, does he? No. And I had the pleasure of awarding the Mayor's Award of Excellence to the Sister City Committee. Now, many community businesses received awards, but accolades will go out to all of those who participated. So it was a great opportunity for many businesses to get mentioned and to be there and be part of the festivities. I'd like to thank Christine Petkow and her staff for a wonderful and well-organized fun event. Thank you, Christine. On the 7th, I attended the annual general meeting of the Friends of the Summerland Research Station Gardens. It was excellent attendance. It was a full house, actually. And the gardens have always been a special place for tourists, Summerland residents, and indeed the whole Okanagan and beyond. It's kept beautiful largely due to the host of hardworking volunteers. And when you see some of the pictures from bygone days in the 20s and 30s, it's actually amazing the numbers of people that were there. I think they were talking several thousand to 4,000 people would attend. And you'd see buggies and wagons and all kinds of things lined up, and lots of people enjoying themselves. So I'm sure it's going to be even more of an event location as the gardens have sort of been, Friends of the Garden have been sort of revitalized, and they're really taking their job on. I also attended regular meetings of the Regional District and the Okanagan Basin Water Board as Summerland's Council's representative. As a council, we are finalizing our strategic plan for this year. Also, a select committee of council is reviewing our official community plan and will soon be bringing a report to council. And that's my report, Corporate Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we have one piece of correspondence, and we have a request from the City of Port Moody requesting that the District of Summerland join other municipalities in forwarding a resolution or a declaration of the right to a healthy environment. It is a resolution, and what they will do is forward this to LGMA, UBCM, and FCM for discussion at their 2015 conference and convention.
So would they like a motion of support from this council then?
Yes, what it would be, the motion that is contained in their letter, I would just, where it says the City of Port Moody, I would be putting the District of Summerland.
I see.
Just supporting this declaration of the right to a healthy environment.
Yeah, I think that sits well with one of the major components in our strategic plan that we'll be going forward with. And as we're moving into a 4-pillar approach with arts and culture and the environment being very heavy aspects of that strategic plan. So I'd like one of the councillors to move that motion in Summerland's name. Councillor Holmes, seconder. Councillor Traynor. All in favor? Thank you. Motion's carried. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we have, under staff and other reports, we have a report from the Works and Utilities Department with respect to an update on the Sani dump fees. And I will have Devin Vandermeulen. Sorry.
It's not that tough.
That's okay, I struggle with it too.
Welcome, Devin.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. So the Sani dump, here with a recommendation from staff for Council to increase the user fees from what it currently is, $8 to $10 per use to cover the district's operating expenses. In 2012, the Sani dump did create some process issues at the wastewater treatment plant. That in turn created difficulty for us to comply with our district's operating certificate with MOE. And as a result, we closed the Sani dump early that year. And staff went back, looked at or searched for, I guess, a more appropriate location. After doing so, the decision was made in spring of 2013 to go back to the existing site, but this time to put in place a pump and haul process where we would pump the effluent from the tank and bring it further away so that it would have sufficient time to dilute before it reached the wastewater plant and then not causing the same issues. At the same time, we put in a user pay system in order to pay for those costs. The fall of that year, costs were reviewed by staff, and council agreed to increase the $5 fee to an $8 fee at the time. As well, the window of operation increased to where it is now. Currently, we operate between beginning of March and around the middle of November. So we've gone through 2 successful seasons. In 2013, we had 753 users, and last year we had 856 users. And the pump and haul process appears to have mitigated the process issues that we had at the wastewater plant prior. Looking back at 2014, our total expenses were $8,876.44. Our revenues were $6,848, and which leaves a shortfall of $2,028.44. So this would mean that in order to have covered our operating expenses last year, we would have had to charge about $10.37 to every user. Because some of those costs last year were related to additional staff time with a card reader update that we had to put in place, staff feels that with careful monitoring of the pumping and hauling process that we can actually cover our costs for for $10 per use. So staff is recommending that the user fees for the Sandy dump be increased from $8 to $10 per use in order to cover these operating costs.
Questions from council? Mr. Van der Meulen. Councillor Peak first.
Yes, there's an agreement charge. Could you just explain the agreement charge on the charge outs?
Yeah, we have an annual agreement with the company that actually provides the kiosk for us. And it's a service agreement, so any updates that are required and such, they provide to us. Right to the degree of replacing the system if they upgrade it. So that's part of those costs.
That's good, because that wouldn't be our specialty.
No,
Now-
not particularly.
Now, it was an overwhelming of bacteria because it was too close to the water treatment plant, is that?
Well, what happens is there are, I guess what they call emulsifiers in what people use in their tanks, in their RV tanks. And those emulsifiers are put in place to make sure that all the solids remain moving in the tank. Whereas in our process, our key is to basically, not suspend those solids anymore. We want to drop them and be able to pull them out of the system. So that, because it's quite a direct link from the Sandy dump to the wastewater plant, we were receiving, the full
Yeah, it's a very short
amount.
distance in a
Yes.
general way.
And at the time, when we did have that issue, again, there was no fee to dump either. So there was heavy usage.
Well, I
from.
have to say, it should definitely be cost recovery, so I think that this plan is a good one, and I have to congratulate staff in finding a solution for the other. Certainly, the highway location is a terrific location when you figure how many people are RVing around our wonderful area.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good opportunity to make that cost recovery complete.
Right.
Councillor Holmes.
How do people pay to use it? Is it
They have to use a credit card.
credit card?
Yes.
Okay, at the site itself? Okay.
Yeah, the kiosk.
How much does it cost at Okanagan Lake Campground, do you know?
Well, we had looked at a number of them. Most of the ones that are pay are in the range of $5 per use. There are some that are free, but they're private organizations or RV sites and such. So we don't know of any municipalities locally that have something similar. So our thought was simply to be able to recover those costs.
And do we know, do we have any idea, can you tell how many of the users are people passing through, and how many are local residents?
I'm not sure that's available to us. The credit card number is accessed and sent to a company, and so I'm not sure that information is available.
I'm just wondering,
we could check on that.
Is our main objective to have this, to service our own, provide a service to our own residents with RVs, or is it to provide a service to tourists or people passing through? I mean, it's.
Yeah, I think I think the original intent was to bring people into town, whether that does it, especially being that it's along the highway. When people are dumping and carrying on, it's hard to know unless, like you say, you're able to access that information as to who's using it. But.
Yeah, I was going to jump in because I have something to add, if you like. It's a little bit deja vu for me because we've encountered these questions a number of times as we were looking at doing this. And of course, we needed the dilution factor, hence we moved to dumping up near the yards.
Yeah.
And so, but it was thought at the time that, yes, we service our own residents, but we also wanted to have the traveling public have a reasonable experience, and that they got to pause and stop in Summerland. They may be going through, but having that pause and saying, okay, well, these folks are are trying to make our way a little bit easier, they might come back. So I saw nothing negative in it. As long as they're paying their way, I see no problem with actually providing that service and having people pass through town with a good frame of mind, wondering where they're going to find the next Sandy Dump. So other places like Canadian Tire use it as a lost leader, and we're not in that game. So, but it was discussed back and forth. So, did you have any additional comment? Councillor Carlson, did you have a comment? Anybody else? Councillor Boot.
It seems that raising the fee to $10 for people that are using that from 8 seems like a fairly logical way to make sure that the people that are using it are paying for it, and that the taxpayers are not paying for something that is not being used by them, not necessarily used by them. So I will be voting in favor of the recommendation. Thank you.
Councillor Peak, first of all, has anybody else got any questions before you get your second round? Okay, Councillor Peak?
Just a quick comment. A collection of names are trying to figure out who is or isn't using it. There's definitely privacy issues around that. So although we might be interested, it's sort of difficult to get at.
Yeah, I really don't think it matters much. Yes, Councillor Trainer.
I was just thinking, if people are going to be stopping there, we should probably make sure that our little kiosk there, the tourism kiosk, is up to date and looks good, so that we're getting a bit more from them when they're doing their thing there.
Yeah, I believe it's the chamber that
I mean,
looks
if
after
they might
that.
as
and I
well
think it's
learn
in-
some stuff about Summerland while they're
Well,
there.
there's
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Councillor Trainer, as you're probably aware, we'll be bringing a few ideas forward that will be enhancing that whole experience. And that'll be just one site in Summerland where we'll be enhancing that, so.
Okay, good.
That's more to be said on that as we go down the road. Everybody's had discussion and questions. Motion to, can I have a mover of the recommendation, please? Councillor Carlson, seconded, Councillor Barkball. All in favor? Thank you, unanimous, it's carried, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Devin, appreciate your report. Now, 10.2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, we'll move to 10.2. There's a staff report and 3 amending bylaws regarding the utility rates and fees, and I will refer this to our Director of Finance.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bylaws before you tonight for first 3 readings relate to the increases for 2015 user fees. Sewer and water fees have annual rate increases of 5% in the water area. It covers all user fees other than irrigator water. And in the electrical utility, the annual increase is 2.625%. These increases would come into effect April 1st, should council choose to adopt these bylaws.
Thank you. Through to the CFO, could you please give us a bit more background, especially with paragraph 2 in your discussion, please? I want people to understand the aspect of the portions of those rates increases that'll be going towards infrastructure and operational costs.
Of course, Mr. Mayor. So throughout the budget process, we've been focusing on the need to direct increases towards non-core budget items and having them going towards improving infrastructure in the community. So in the water fund, the annual increase of 5% would see that a portion of it needs to go towards an anticipated drop in usage, so a drop in revenues, and some increase in core costs that were mainly due to increased water testing requirements by Interior Health. And so about 0.7 of the 5%, sorry, I didn't read that correctly. So some will be going towards that, but approximately 0.7 of the 5% increase is dedicated to infrastructure. So that would be 14% of the total increase going towards more money for renewing infrastructure in the water fund. And in the sewer fund, the increase will cover core costs again, and the remainder of the increase, 3.3 out of the 5, or about 2/3, will fund infrastructure renewal in that fund. With the electric rates, the total increase flows through to FortisBC to cover the increasing cost of wholesale purchase of power. So the way that works for Summerland is that Fortis advises us in the fall of what increase they're applying to the Utilities Commission, and in this year they've applied for a 3.5% increase. So purchase of power for us is about 75% of our budget. So 3.5% times 75% is the 2.625% increase on the electric rates. As well in this, these bylaws that are before you tonight, in water, we have already had fixed fees in place for about 5 months. So in the late summer, early fall, Council chose to amend the bylaw at that time to put in, rather than estimating each time a connection is made to the water services and done on a case-by-case basis, fees were established that would be common to all of those kinds of services. And the recommendation from staff is that they would like to see that same process put into place for sewer and electricity. So when someone has connections into those utilities, the process is speeded up by not having to do an individual estimate for each new account. Staff feels that there's been an improvement in the time it takes to process applications for connections due to the streamlining of the water process, and we think that having these fixed costs in sewer and electricity will also help that process go faster.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to be sure because as we've been talking tax-related discussions, we've made a strong point that we've maintained our core costs, have stayed steady, and but the primary focus is to put money into infrastructure, and so that's been the focus of this budget, and I think as we can bring outside income sources in, that'll be a bonus for infrastructure as well, but we do have to focus on infrastructure because infrastructure was made clear to me at some of the presentations through the chamber and so on, is that business depends on our infrastructure being in good shape. So we're proceeding towards that end to make sure that we can do the best job we can, but we have to do it with a minimum of borrowing as we go forward. So I think we're trying to do things in a prudent manner. So any questions by council of our CFO, please? Councillor Barkle.
I'm not sure if you
speak up, please.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm not sure if the electrical rates are your area necessarily, but I was looking at them and I just wanted to have an understanding of them. There is a streetlight rate code on page 27 of 37. And I presume this is all part of sort of moving the funding for those common municipal services from the electrical department to the general fund? And you got to have a rate to be able to do that?
So the rate codes on page 27 are non-metered electrical use where it's a flat rate per month. So if you have a yard light, I think that's, or a street light, those are the codes that you're seeing there. Is that what you're asking about, Councillor Barkle?
So where would they apply to? Is it what's going to be charged to the municipality for the electricity consumption of the streetlights now?
These are the rate codes that we charge to our customers.
Oh.
So if you had a light in your yard that wasn't metered.
That wasn't metered. I didn't know that such a thing existed.
Yes, right?
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we have a street light that we put in, so I didn't know I could ask the city to put one in for me or something.
You'd be charged.
Perhaps Devin wouldn't mind speaking to where these are located in the district.
Yeah.
As you're right, this isn't really my area of expertise.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I can point them all out either, but we've not put in new ones in recent time, but there have been quite a number in the past at places like even the school up at the end past our yards. What's the name of the?
Glenford.
Glenford. We've got one or two that are just in their yard that are part of our system that they simply pay. Initially, it was calculated at at a base rate and was increased every year for the increase in Fortis rates, and that's what they pay because what Laurie's saying is that it's not metered. So again, I'm not sure necessarily why they were put in place in the past. We're not putting any of those types of things in place now, and I'm not sure that it's worth trying to meter them at this point.
What I was really kind of surprised about is the next thing down, the third thing, other streetlight rate code, where it's like $451 per month for it looks like essentially the same type of streetlight. What is that?
I'd have to look at that.
That second group of rate codes is pertaining to Highway 97 lighting. So these are rates that are charged to the Ministry of Transportation and Highways.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So
yes.
We charge $5. Is it because we paid for the lights or something, or is it strictly for the electricity use?
Yeah, there are lights, and it is electricity use as well, in both cases, I believe.
This is the electricity use, this rate code.
Yeah.
Yes.
So looks like we maybe make a profit on those.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
$3,000 a month for
Yeah, I do know that they review it closely annually as well. So I would think if we were far out of line, they would be knocking on our door.
These would be typical rates of elsewhere where I know of. These are not
Yeah.
unusual.
The other question I had was the electric heating installation charge. Is this a one-time charge if you wanted to upgrade or install electric heating based on the area that you're going to be heating?
Sorry, what's it called again?
It says, it's at the bottom of the page, the electric heating installation charge. The following non-refundable surcharge will apply to all new
Right.
and established electric heating customers.
So, yeah, sorry, it is a one-time fee, and the intent is to try to reduce the number of people who put electric heat in their homes because of the consumption that it creates, and trying to reduce that. So there's a surcharge put in place.
And notwithstanding that some people might not have a choice because they don't have gas as an alternative, or?
Yeah, I mean, this was put in place many years ago and has continued. I suppose there's a multitude of alternatives for heat, and yeah, I agree. It is difficult, more difficult in some situations than others. As far as making those decisions.
Further comment? No? Can I have a mover of this recommendation, please? Councillor Peak, seconder, Councillor Holmes. Any further comments or discussion?
I just have,
Yes, Councillor
just have a
Paul.
quick comment related to the water. Over the last couple of weeks, I've talked to lots of orchardists and farmers, and they're very excited to start talking about water rates for irrigation. So that will be really important, and it will affect this in the long run as well.
Okay, thank you. Hear the motions come forward and moved and seconded. All in favor, please. Thank you. Motion's carried. Thank you. So now we move on to councillors'
Councillor reports.
Okay. So we'll start with Councillor Barkwell. This is just a change up to keep you guys alert.
Well, I attended the Chamber of Commerce awards banquet as well and enjoyed it very much. Probably, I would say, even more than I expected. Thor's auction was a highlight of the evening. The food was delicious. The Museum Society had their AGM on Friday. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I can report that they honored Sharon Stone with a life membership. And Ron Roscher was elected as a director. And there's a local historian, Joe Smeon, hope I pronounced that correctly, who gave a presentation on the KVR at the AGM.
Thank you. Councillor Holmes.
I wasn't able to make it to the Chamber Awards. I was out of town, but I just wanted to congratulate to all the award winners, and I just wanted to say that with True Grain being named the best business, I think that's a positive sign for the whole community. In France, in small towns, the local boulangère is seen as an important economic indicator in small towns, and it's considered, the bakery is considered an essential service. And a loss of a bakery in a small town in France is just devastating. It's a strong symbol. It's a symbol of a town's decline, whereas a popular bakery is a symbol of prosperity for the town. So I think it's encouraging for the whole town that we have a very strong bakery. So. This past Wednesday, I was up in Kelowna for a UBCO workshop. It was on the upcoming challenges to Okanagan municipalities. I kind of interpreted more as the upcoming research areas of the professor speaking at the forum. There's more discussion about challenges than solutions, but there was some good discussion, and one interesting thing that came up was about how much provincial and federal levels of government responsibility are being offloaded onto municipal governments, and that's something I certainly got a sense of during our budget process. I hope hopefully that'll become a big election issue in the federal in the federal election coming up, and I don't know what our responsibility is for getting it onto the political agenda, but I think we have some, and hopefully the press will write about it, and maybe we could have a Philosopher's Cafe on the subject, because I think it is a big issue. It has been for a long time, and we just keep getting more stuff downloaded onto us, it seems. Back to UBCO, they are doing a lot of research, and they do want to engage. It seems they do want to engage with the Okanagan communities, but I get a sense they're not sure how to go about it. So I think we should, engage with them more too, and tell them how they can help us. And for the Cultural Task Force example, I think there's an opportunity to draw upon their expertise. But in many areas, they do have an urban studies department, which have lots of professors who want to do research areas and want to get out into the community. So I think there's a good way to take example of that. On Saturday, I joined the mayor and Councillor Carlson meeting with a Summerland youth who contacted all of us to see how we could better engage with youth in the community. And I think we kind of agreed we should work within existing structures like the high school civics class or the leadership group in the high school, and I agreed to follow up on that. So if council agrees, I'll contact the high school and see what we can get going. And finally, Saturday night I went to the local STEAM game. They're making a great run in the playoffs. In fact, they're playing right now as we speak. They're facing an elimination. That probably explains why there's not so many people here today, because they're all at the hockey game. But win or lose, the teams had a great season. I think that they're they've represented Summerland really well, and they're a great asset to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I think just further to your statements about where do things go from here with respect to offloading or downloading, that's where the UBCM and the FCM come in a big way. So those topics are pushed in those forums. Councillor Carlson.
That's me. Where to start? I'll try not. I didn't type it out like Councillor Holmes over here, but I have some thoughts. Last week there was a community-to-community forum held down in Karamias, and there was representation from RDOS and every community within RDOS, as well as 4 different First Nations, including Penticton Indian Band, Karamias, Osoyoos, and another upper and lower Similkameen were both there, and it was a wonderful experience. Grand Chief Stuart Phillip was there. He spoke to us for over an hour about what he's seen and done and how things really do work. And we talked with Jonathan Kruger, who's the chief of Penticton First Nations right now, and they're excited and look forward to a protocol agreement with Summerland. So it's something we can all work towards and look forward to, because I think that there's a lot of potential if we can work with our neighbors. The day after that, or no, the same evening, it was a very long day, I went to a discussion on climate change in Penticton. It was with Dr. Simon Donner of UBC, and he presented some really interesting facts. And it was very well attended. The room was absolutely packed. And I think that it's important that we recognize that people are paying attention to what we do as a local government in regards to climate change and to policy within our municipality. So I'm glad that we're all aware of that. And I believe everyone believes climate change is real and that humans are causing it. So it's important that our constituents know that and recognize that. Two more things. The Limes Sucks challenge that we filmed a couple of weeks ago, I posted it this morning because the ticks are out, and I've met a few people that have already been pulling them off, and there was one in my bed the other day. So, you know, they're there, so let's pay attention, and it's on my Facebook page if anyone wants to see it. It's quite funny. And finally, Neil Carter of Okanagan Specialty Fruits is going to be on Dr. Oz at 4 p.m. tomorrow. It will be an interesting discussion, so if you're home at that time, you should probably check it out.
Thank you. Councillor Peak.
Thank you very kindly. I echo Councillor Carlson's words about the community forum at Carameus. It was a very, very good day. I thought was most interesting the nation presented a lot of how they do their planning, and it's very similar to the way we do ours. The breakdown's a little bit different, and they're very interested in better understanding our planning and how we might be able to integrate some of our thoughts around that. I think they've released, there's been a booklet come through from the province regarding planning and their plan and how they do theirs. So it was very interesting on that. There was a watershed report that came out, and it was went through in detail, and that was fascinating. And I'm sure Mayor Waterman knows, and others here at this table would be aware we've done that same kind of study in the Okanagan and actually taken a couple of steps further. But it was a wonderful day to be able to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet. So it was a very rewarding day, and certainly the drive was very, very nice to do as well. I have to say I'm very pleased to work with a council that's active and interested, because some of the things that one person gets to another person doesn't, and it's good to hear the reports back and to be able to talk about it later. And it's a very important part of working as a team, so I'm really pleased to be on the table with other people that do the same kind of work. I wanted to mention that there was an AGM for the Art Council. Unfortunately, I was busy doing other things, but they had some good reports, and in their recovery, what they were looking at, they were looking for new members and were able to achieve some new membership, which is great. There was a Women in Tech Coding offering in Kelowna that I would have very much liked to go to, but perhaps if we can hook up with Accelerate Okanagan, there's an opportunity that we could do a Women in Tech Coding in our own area and invite people locally to attend that as well. I'd like to mention the United Church is having on Saturday, March 14th, this Saturday, an indoor vendors market from 9 until 2. And the Philosopher's Cafe is coming up on this Wednesday, March 11th. The topic is Their Life Beyond Our Present Existence, and our own Renee Goldman will be presenting that, so it should be a very interesting evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Booth. Bit of a lottery, isn't it?
It is a bit of a lottery.
Keep you on your toes.
So I don't have anything to add other than what other councillors have already spoken of, except that on Saturday morning, I went to the home show in Penticton, working in the RDOS booth. Their focus this year was on what to do with your waste demolition, and of course the whole composting workshops that are up and down the valley, and where you can get your compost bins. Incidentally, you can get them at the District of Summerland here. I had a great discussion with Zoe Kirk, who works very closely with the RDOS, with the Penticton Indian Band on behalf of the RDOS on land matters and wild safe program, which used to be Bear Aware, but it includes urban deer now as well. She had some really good insight and was very excited about the I guess the transformation especially over the last year or so, into working with the Penticton Indian Band instead of butting heads all the time. So she's really excited about Chief Jonathan Kruger's announcement that he would like to work on a joint protocol agreement with the District of Summerland. So that was great. Thank you.
Councillor Trainer.
I too attended the 77th Annual Business and Community Excellence Awards at the Summerland Waterfront Hotel, and it was an entertaining evening as always. Congratulations to all the winners and the nominees, and a big thank you to Christine and her staff for organizing the event. And I just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow night is the Chamber's annual general meeting and business after business at Sumac Ridge Winery, starting at 5. I spoke with Art Moore of the Summerland Yacht Club today, and he asked me to remind everybody about the Ogopogo bathtub race, which is happening on August 22nd at Peach Orchard Park. The event is raising funds for the Penticton Regional Hospital Tower project. The Summerland Yacht Club is hoping to make a presentation to council soon, but in the meantime, you're invited to check out their website, which is ogopogobathtubrace.com. As a volunteer at Critter Aid, I'm just going to put in a little pitch for Critter Aid. I would like to remind everybody as well that March is their adoption month. Every Thursday from 12:30 until 4, the charity is bringing 2 or 3 of its cats that are up for adoption to the thrift shop on Victoria Road, and you can go and meet them. So if you're hoping to expand your household by a feline or 2, you might want to check out this event. Critter Aid currently has about 70 cats in its care, and my house is currently at catpacity.
Whoa.
I just have 2 more things quickly. I was hiking on Giant's Head Mountain yesterday. We are hiking all over it, and tick season is here. Between Eric and I, we picked off, I'm not kidding, 15 ticks.
Really?
Eric had one in his shirt. So you need to be really careful. Right now, I've never seen that many ticks in Summerland in the entire time that I've lived here. So I don't know if Giant's Head is a nesting ground for them or what, but that's a warning for everybody to just check your clothes, check your pets after you hike there. And finally, on Saturday morning, I will be representing Summerland at the Okanagan-Similkameen Healthy Living Fair. It's on from 9 until 4. I believe it's on at the Penticton Trade and Convention Center, and Dr. Art Hister is opening. He'll be speaking at 9:15, so I will be there, and I believe Councillor Peak will be there as well. And it's a free event, so you can go and learn all about how to be healthy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'd
Mr.
like
Mayor,
to.
There was something
Yeah.
I forgot, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
You're very kind. I sent a congratulations to Neil Carter and Okanagan Specialty Fruits, and he offered, and I'm sure Mr. Mayor might be able to line this up, to maybe come and speak to us about their good news about their business and their future in Summerland. So perhaps, Peter, you could speak with them about that and invite them to come and speak with us.
Let's see whether he's got time.
That'd be great.
Thank you. Just like to mention something about cats. I would invite another cat, but I can't afford it. Mostly because each cat has to come with a doorman. And I can't afford another doorman either, so that's the way it goes with cats, I'm sorry. So with that, we move into the public question period. Any members of the public or press, please, would like to speak? Christine, any comments or things you'd
I'd
like
like
to?
to just thank you to Councillor Trader for mentioning the AGM tomorrow. So
Yep, I'll be there.
It will be riveting, and so we certainly invite you to come.
Riveting. Okay.
As all AGMs are.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you got to get a life. Anyway, any comments from the press or questions? John, Susan, nothing? Thank you. Well, I'll have a motion to close this meeting to the public, please. Mover, and Counselor Booth. Counselor Carlson, thank you. All in favor? So we'll be moving into in camera. Thank you, everybody.